Hi, I'm Carrie and welcome to my channel. Today is April's monthly musings. So I'm going to share a little bit with you about my practice in April. Mostly this video will be things that I brought into my practice because my practice was all over the place. I'm not going to go into all of that again. I've talked about that on several videos throughout the month of April. So if you've been here, you kind of know what's going on. What I ended up doing was I spent the last weekend, just this past weekend in April, basically doing reflection readings for the month because I could not get to my daily readings. So that's kind of what I did, and that worked well for me considering I didn't get a chance to interact with my journal, spirit, whatever throughout the month because of things that I've been dealing with. So I just went back and pulled a card for each week and reflected on what the lesson was from that week. So because things have been so chaotic, the only deck that I focused on for the month is the Dreamkeepers Tarot. And I also used this deck in the month of March. So this was really the second month that I used it. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't have this deck, this is one to definitely check out. This is the mass market version, put out by US Games. But what I think makes this deck so super special is this guidebook. This deck has, I don't know, it's not new, obviously. I think, let me check. Pretty sure it's 2020. Yeah, 2020 is the copyright. It's a very quirky deck. I wouldn't say it's a Rider-Waite clone. Some of the images are, but you know, you have headless people and things like that. So I wasn't sure about it when I first got it, and I used it sparingly, I guess, because I've had it for over a year, I think now. But using it steadily as the primary tarot deck for the past 2 months, this deck has blown me away. I love it, and it is now going into what I consider my favorites category for decks. Right up there with my Light Seers, the Anna Kay, the Morgan Greer, the Tarot of Oneness. This one is like right up there. I've did all kinds of readings with this. This is a good shadow deck. It gave me light readings. I did predictive readings with it. I ran the gambit with it, I guess, and tried all kinds of things out. I think this would also be a great deck for spell work if you wanted to use it that way. But the thing that got me is this guidebook. I think this guidebook is phenomenal. And it doesn't even skimp when you get to the minors. So like there's the Three of Cups over here to my right. And here is the write-up on the Three of Cups. The exact same amount of write-up that you get in the major. I wanted to soak up what was said in this guidebook. So let's take the Empress, because I have her right here. I won't read you all of it because it is pretty lengthy, but it explains everything. So it says, draped in boundless skies and taking center stage in the forest glen, the Empress radiates an assured blissful presence in the dark evening light. All 12 signs of the zodiac are drawn in by the 12 stars on her crown, emblematic of her connection with both the celestial realm and the solar calendar year. With one foot squarely on the ground, she is rooted in a state of harmony and balance, her very presence bridging the realms of sky and earth. And then it goes on and it explains about her, what's on her feet. And then it says the Empress is the benevolent Earth Mother. She is the nurturing caregiver, cherishing the world and all of its inhabitants. She is generous with her affections, and with this tender capacity to give and receive, enjoys deep, stable, and rewarding relationships with others. And then it goes on about that. And then we come over here, and many of us feel a significant lack in our lives, whether it be in the physical realm or our internal world. If this is the case, the Empress may appear to you with a warm, enveloping declaration that you have enough. You are enough. You may see only faults and shortcomings, but she is here to tell you that there is nothing wrong with you. And then that goes on, and then we get to the divinatory message. When the Empress appears in a reading, she brings messages of abundance, abundance in love, pleasure, growth, prosperity, and so on and so on, this whole paragraph. And then there's even keywords. And every single card is like that. This guidebook is phenomenal, which I think I already said. And I used it with every single reading. I enjoyed reading these write-ups of the description of what's going on in the card. I don't know. I just love this. If you have this deck, leave me a comment and let me know what you think of it. Do you work with it with the guidebook, or do you just go with it intuitively or whatever? I think it could be a very intuitive deck, but like I said, because first of all, I had a lot going on, which when I'm reading for myself, this just helped me process things a little bit better. But I just wanted to read about the symbolism and everything in each one of these cards to get to understand it and know it better. And I loved my time with this deck. I will definitely be using this deck more often. Like I said, for a multitude of readings, I just think this deck has a lot to give, and especially if you take time to read about the symbolism in the guidebook. So yeah, this was my favorite as far as April goes, and the few readings that I did get to do and working with this deck made them an absolute joy to work with. So I'm curious, if you do have this deck, how you feel about it, what you got out of it or what you thought of the guidebook. Let me see. I had some really intense dreams this past month, and usually when I'm under a lot of stress, it seems to work out that way. They're crazy. But one of them that was significant was I remember walking through these ruins with this other person, and I kept finding these ripped cards, and when I would pick them up, I would call them tarot cards, but they weren't. They were actual playing cards, and they were ripped in different ways. Some were ripped vertically, some were ripped in half, and when I woke up, I could remember a handful of the cards that I had picked up in my dream. And they were the King of Clubs, Nine of Swords, Three of Clubs, and Queen of Diamonds. So I did write those down really quick and then went and researched them. Because like I said, I kept referring to them as a tarot card, even though it was a standard playing card that I was looking at. So I went to see what the association between the playing card and the tarot was. And that was really significant. And I enjoyed seeing what came up for that. Something else I started, but I didn't get to complete, and that is working in my Ancestor Grimoire for the month of April. And the month of April, we were focused on elemental magic, the land magic. And I did meet the ancestor through a meditation that stepped forward for me in regards to land magic. So something I'd shown these, every time I talk about the Ancestor Grimoire, I show these cards. And these are the cards that I'm making up as I meet each ancestor. And they all started out using the Tim Holtz dolls, paper dolls. And when I was sitting there looking, and I was getting ready to make my land magic ancestor, and I was looking through these, the energy was so blah to the cards that I spent an entire day playing and creating with this. This is the only one that I kept the same. I just added some color and some jewels. He's my manifester. This is Thomas. He was my original guide for this. This is Philippe. He is my ancestor of healing. And I just took different images. I constantly save magazine images that spark an interest, either for to use in my art journal or to use in junk journals and so on. I have a whole file of different images. And so I started going through there and feeling what I was drawn to. So if you're doing the Ancestral Grimoire, are you doing anything like this? Are you making any cards, you know, for each one of your ancestors? And the reason I did it was so I can tap into their energy much quicker by having a card to focus on. Like the Ancestor of Healing card, my original one, the guy that I had on here, he was so cold and had more of this aloof type pose to him. And I thought, there doesn't seem, for a healing ancestor, there doesn't seem to be anything nurturing or warm or inviting in him at all. And then when I came across this image, I was like, oh my gosh, this is him. This is Philippe. And I pulled it out and I redid this card. I redid Helene. I had this old Victorian style black and white person here before, and this is my more modern day Helene with her scrying bowls, because she does scry with water. And then this is the one I did for Rowan, my ancestor of land. And it's not, I'm not thrilled with the image. It was the only one that had that outdoorsy feel, because she is starting to step in, which you can't see it, but she is starting to step into a circle. And the thing about circles with my ancestor of the land is the labyrinths are very important in relation to her, from what I gained from my meditation that I got to do the one day with her. I only did the reading and wrote what I felt a message was from her. I didn't do the shadow work. I'm not in a place to do shadow work right now, so I didn't want any more heaviness put upon me. And we've had many, many days of rain, so I didn't get to walk the neighborhood and do the energy of the neighborhood, but that is something I definitely want to do. I skipped the whole part about the chakras because I just went through working with the chakras with a handful of clients and people I have in a small little membership group, and so I didn't feel that was necessary for me at this time. But I do want to go back and work with her and the land chakra, because I found that this very interesting when I read about it. And for May, we are going to work with celestial and moon magic, and I am looking forward to that, because yet again I am not cultivating any kind of moon practice, and I've said it on this channel before. I'm really kind of I'm just feeling drawn that I need some sort of moon practice. I just cannot find anything that is working for me right now. And that leads me to a purchase that I made in the month of April. I follow Jessica and the Moon. I love her channel, and she has the Circle of Kindreds Facebook group that I am a part of, and I love that group. It's a very nurturing, spiritual circle community. And she uses these woman runes that I'd never heard of before until I was a part of her group. And they're put out by Remer, and I got them off of Brigids Grove. I got them off of Brigids Grove on Etsy. She has a brigidsgrove.com. And I don't know if that links to her Etsy store or not. Like I said, I found them on Etsy. But Jessica pulls a woman, gee, I don't know what my deal is with saying that, pulls a woman rune every new moon. And I love watching her video about that, and she reads out of the guidebook and everything. But I thought I would like to start something like that for my own individual moon practice. And I think that was the whole purpose of me picking these up. And that is to pull my own woman rune for the new moon. And then spend an entire cycle, new moon to new moon, working or reflecting on that energy and seeing, how it works for me in my life. So far, I think I've mentioned before, the most prevalent energy has my year ahead reading that I did for myself, which I know some people don't like to do those because it's projecting so far into the future. But this thing, that has been so spot on for me. Like, my card for the month of April was Nine of Swords. It couldn't have been a more Nine of Swords month. So yeah, it's just that has been very prevalent in my life. Also, from Brigids Grove, before I move on to something else, I picked up one of her goddess statues, and oh my god, I love it. This is the goddess of protection, and she sits up over on my little shelf over there, and I cannot wait to get more of these. I want to get the Mother Mary one. I think she has a Brigid. One too, and I want to get that one also. It's just, oh, I just love it. I love holding them and like absorbing the energy from it. And I needed a little protection in my life from some energy vampires. But anyway, yeah, so this is my first little goddess statue, and I cannot wait to get some more of these. Something else that I picked up off of Etsy is this beautiful necklace of the star. And this came from a shop called Allison Bliss Jewelry. And she had very good reviews on her shop. And she had, I don't know if she had all the major arcana, but she had several different ones to choose from. And I chose the star because it's associated with Aquarius, which I am an Aquarius, but I am really absorbing and needing the star energy of hope and having faith, and, that connection between here and above. You can pick your chain. I love this pearl chain, so this is the one I picked, but she has numerous different chains that you can pick to go along with this, whichever charm that you decide on. a lot of different lengths. I picked a longer length so I didn't have to keep clasping and unclasping it, so I could just put it right over my head. But I can't wait. I want to get a couple others that she has. I picked this up when it was on sale, and I thought it was pretty reasonably priced for what I've seen some other tarot charms being sold for. So yeah, check her out. I'm no affiliation with her whatsoever. It's just I got this and I love it, and I thought I would share this with you. Something else I picked up in the month of April is let me see if I can find it on my messy table. Are these pendants. I got them the one metaphysical store. I think I had said a few months back that we finally were getting some metaphysical stores, crystal stores, things like that. Well, it's actually across the bridge in another state, but that's only 10 minutes from me. But finally getting some in our area, and then one of them's closed down already. But anyway, I got this from the local metaphysical store, and I'm planning on making pendulums out of them. I made my own pendulums. I did it for a while and sold them. This is my absolute favorite pendulum that I made myself. This is obsidian. Obsidian? Yeah, obsidian. And I put the chain and everything on it. And this is the one I use really all the time now. I've had pendulums for years, but my amethyst one is just this it was my very first pendulum, and it was just this itty bitty tiny little thing. So this has a larger piece, and this is a nice heavy weight, and I like that. This is a larger piece of amethyst, and my other pendulum that I have that was my favorite, that I used all the time, was a rose quartz one. And then I dropped it and the point broke off. So I don't use it anymore. So this also came with a rose quartz. It has green aventurine. I think this is opalite. Yeah, opalite, and then tiger's eye. So I'm going to mess around, see what kind of jewelry supplies I have left upstairs, and make myself some new pendulums. And when I get around to doing that, I'll show them to you here on the channel. So I spent the day vegging out watching some YouTube videos and trying to catch up on some of my favorite creators here on YouTube, and seeing what was on their channels and so on. But one of the videos, or a group of the videos I got engrossed in, was Krista's over at Crochet Witch Tarot, her journey through the Enchanted Forest. So she started this, I want to say beginning of March. I might be wrong. I think it was the beginning of March, maybe it was end of February. I'm going to try to remember. She said she had a playlist of them. I'm going to try to remember to link her playlist below. I didn't get to do this, but I watched her videos explaining about her process. She created these prompts for everybody as a way to, I guess, get to know your deck, the Enchanted Forest, better, or you could use any deck, she said. But she, I think, stated that she created this was because she was maybe feeling out of sorts or a little lost or needed some direction, and wanted to use her Enchanted Forest deck to guide her through that. So she has 7 videos, and I wrote down the prompts for each one of the videos here. So she takes you through the major arcana and the prompts that she created to go with this. Like, so day 1, is what has me feeling lost? How do I feel about myself right now? You know, and so on. Then you go to, that was the, I guess not the day one. Day one's meeting the white heart. The first video was about prepping for your journey through the Enchanted Forest. And then meeting the white heart, meeting our guides is day two. Making decisions or choices. Day four is a time of action. 5 is consideration. 6 is truth revealed. And 7 is leaving the forest. So I wrote all these down. I am definitely going to work through these prompts. She put a lot of time and effort into that. And I love this deck. I don't use this deck that often. I've spoke about it other times in other videos, and I would like to use it to get to know it better and to see what it has to show me. So let me know if you've done her journey through the Enchanted Forest. There are a lot of, I guess, I don't know what you would call them, not tarot tags, and not tarot walkthroughs. The word is leaving me right now. Maybe tarot exploration or whatever that is going on with different channels and like the deck and walk that I am dying to start and do. It's just not feasible for me at this point in time, but something like this where it's, you know, only 7 days, or I could spread it out as I sit with these messages over 7 weeks or whatever. It seems a little bit more doable for me right now, but I've noticed that a lot of channels are putting out some really great content of things like this and going through different decks and learning more about them, you know, by doing different prompts. So, like I said, I'm going to try to remember to link her playlist below. But if I do forget, it's Crochet Witch Tarot here on YouTube. And check out her journey through the Enchanted Forest. So, as I'm looking at my mess of a table, I think that pretty much sums up my April musings. Like I said, I didn't talk much about my journal. There just wasn't any point to it. But yeah, again, let me know if you have this Dreamkeepers Tarot. Man alive, I loved working with this deck for 2 months. I cannot wait to work with it again. And like I said, I used the guidebook, and I don't care. It's just, it's a great guidebook, and I loved hearing all the symbolism of it. Let me know what you did for your month of April with your practice. Did you do anything new, or were you just not able to get to it, much like me? Yeah, just let me know in the below. We can have a conversation about it. So thanks for stopping by today. I really appreciate you being here. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you like this content. I really appreciate it. So until I see you next time, bye.